and Antonio Conte is a fat weasel of a Tottenham coach. Never have I seen a manager look so disinterested to be at a football club. Honestly, he looks like Jennifer Aniston in season 10 of Friends, or one of Hugh Hefner's wives. Only there for the cash. The man was so reluctant to set foot inside the ground that he actually said no to Tottenham after Mourinho was sacked. I mean, do you not remember? Daniel Levy had to swallow that rejection as if it was a sticky muffin off a toilet seat, and instead just had to hire the Wolves coach instead. Honestly, hiring Nuno Espirito Santo to work in a spaceship stadium and giving a man who that summer failed job interviews at Everton and Crystal Palace, giving him the keys to the ground and full responsibility for a top 4 challenge. It was about as risky as inviting Kyle Walker for a pint. Conte has practically been begging for the sack ever since the moment he walked through the door. He's been like some reality TV star who's found themselves trapped in a celebrity tabloid marriage with Susan Boyle. I mean, every time they have to cuddle with popcorn on the couch, a small part of his soul gets crushed like a can of Sprite. If this is a marriage, then right now, Conte would just be sleeping on the couch. Oh, and by the way, before we go further, just hit that subscribe button if you're new. Try to get to 200k, you absolute legends. Anyway, back into the video. I think there are certain European powerhouse managers who actually might be overrated. There is such a thing as a league manager and a cup manager. I already said this last week about Carlo Ancelotti, but nobody wanted to accept it. He's managed the biggest clubs on the face of the earth and has never, ever won 2 league titles for the same club. And lads, he was at AC Milan for 8 years. Everyone always romanticizes him with that great Milan team, with nostalgia leaking out their nose as if they're remembering Toy Story 2. Yeah, he won them the league title once. This is a man who had the riches of PSG and finished second to Montpellier. While manager at Juventus, he finished second in the league to both Rome clubs. While at Milan, he finished 4th twice, 3rd 3 times, and lads, even as low as 5th. I mean, did nobody stomach some sort of clue that he wasn't the best league manager when we were watching him trying to outwit Tony Adams on a wet and windy European night at Portsmouth? I mean, lads, it's only a couple of years ago that the great Ancelotti was finishing behind Burnley and Sheffield United in the league. The next season, he was level on points with Leeds. But the reason we look at him as a world great is because he's won the Champions League 4 times. He is an absolute cup superstar, while Conte is the opposite. He is the anti-Ancelotti. This is a man who won 3 league titles in a row at Juventus. He took Chelsea from 10th to 1st and won Inter Milan the first league title in 11 years. But in the Champions League, he is a grotesque pig turd. This man has a worse European record than Harry Redknapp. He's only overcome 1 team in a Champions League knockout tie ever, and that was when he was at Juventus. He saw off Celtic 10 years ago. Yeah, Celtic pre-Virgil van Dijk. Is that it? Beating up a team from Scotland? That's his resume? I mean, he also failed to get out of the Champions League group stage with Juventus in 2014, failing to beat the likes of Copenhagen and Galatasaray. He scraped his way through the group with Chelsea in 2017, letting Roma stick 6 goals past them along the way. He absolutely bottled both group stages with Inter Milan, and even this season, Tottenham scraped through a Europa League standard group by the width of a monkey's tongue. This man is a Champions League bottle job. We need to distinguish that some coaches are league managers and some are cup managers. And Tottenham are never going to win the league, so what's the point? Lads, I feel sorry for Harry Kane. This man who clearly wanted to leave Tottenham in 2019 when Mauricio Pochettino was sacked. If Levy had gone out and appointed an absolutely uninspiring sausage sandwich like flavor of the month Chris Wilder, then Kane would have been out that door. But no, he stuck around for the glory of Jose Mourinho, a genuine world-class coach. Then Mourinho gets sacked and Kane immediately wants out to get a move to Man City. I mean, come on, going from Jose Mourinho to the bloke who used to be his 3rd choice goalie at Porto? No, of course Kane wanted to leave. But then Conte comes in and okay, another world-class manager. Maybe now Kane can stay and win some stuff. But no, it's been a wet anticlimax. Like Jake Paul on the eve of his fight. For Tottenham, sure, it's amazing to have a homegrown world star up front for years. But let's be honest, the most exciting transfers in the world are strikers. But Tottenham have had that sorted for years. There's nothing quite like getting all sweaty under your nose about the latest big money centre forward that your club has splashed out on. Spurs fans won't admit it, but it was a rush when their club would gamble big cash on the likes of Roberto Soldado, Emmanuel Adebayor, Roman Pavlyuchenko, even Darren Bent. But Kane, it's a bit boring. I mean, Newcastle had the same thing when they had Alan Shearer up front for so long. When Shearer was coming towards the end, Newcastle but Patrick Kluivert. And the excitement sent ripples across the city. It's the whole thing about will they work, will they not? But because of boring old Harry Kane, all your recent strikers have just been bought for the bench, like Carlos Vinicius, Fernando Llorente, and Vincent Janssen. Just bloated mid-table bumblebees with the ambition of toilet water. I mean, this is maybe like being stuck in a 50-year boring marriage. I mean, do you think Robert De Niro misses going on 1950s Tinder? So honestly, what I'm about to suggest, Tottenham, this should not actually frighten you. I'm not suggesting you let the bag of scream tickle you in bed, because the loss of Kane gives you a chance to actually target some elite superstar centre forward now. Instead of the days of just asking Slido Berahino to come and sit on the bench, ever since Tottenham have been Champions League regulars, they were finally in the conversation to attract the world's best. If Kane didn't exist, you're damn right Daniel Levy would have been in the market for the likes of Romelu Lukaku, Darwin Núñez, Antoine Griezmann. So Spurs, don't be offended by what I'm about to say. Kane needs to leave. Conte needs to go. But I mean, what world-class managers are out there now? I think Tottenham should appoint a long-term project manager. Not Mauricio Pochettino. No. This man's reputation is now coated in cheap VCs. What has this man actually achieved in this sport since the spring of 2019? Because last I checked, he was an underwhelming PSG flop who was chewed up and spat out by the egos of Mbappe and Neymar. Yeah, it's one thing to be able to get through to Ben Davies and Harry Winks, but in the elitist vanity club that is PSG, I'm guessing this scruffy fella, just a chunky bloke who looks like if Wolverine neglected the gym, he was probably told to just go eat his lunch in the PSG toilets. Honestly, at PSG, he had the authority of wet banana bread, and considering he was a former PSG player, I genuinely believe that Pochettino at that club was just an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. He was just there because he was an ex-player, and really, he commanded less respect in that dressing room than Sam Smith in a Blackpool pub. Pochettino is a backwards move. I mean, remember their Amazon documentary? The camera crew even just tried to delete his very existence within the first 10 minutes. I mean, that man had been employed for 5 years, and his exit was just treated as if the lunch lady had found a poo in the microwave. If Pochettino agrees to crawl back and again work for a man who sacked him just months after reaching a Champions League final, then I'll actually lose some respect. Tottenham need to look at what Arsenal have done. They already went for a high-profile super coach in Unai Emery, and it didn't work. So they just pinched the Manchester City protege Mikel Arteta. They've trusted the process and they've been excellent. I realise that now, me suggesting that Tottenham hire the current Burnley coach. It sounds like they just offered Kim Kardashian a plate of pubic hair for lunch. But Company is a vibrant, up-and-coming, hungry manager who plays a slick brand of football. Lads, he's made Burnley beautiful. That's like a makeup artist being able to get Maggie Smith to win Miss World. Company is the manager to hire this summer. And I know Burnley fans will say,
"Oh, he won't ditch us in the Premier League. How could he walk out upon promotion? You're talking nonsense, Irish guy."
yeah, of course, it's not like that's ever happened to your club before, right? Now, Owen Coyle got Burnley promoted and almost instantly moved to Bolton. If Burnley managers can be tempted away by a move to Bolton Wanderers to live in Fogdenville, then your damn right Company is going to sign a Tottenham deal. But I genuinely believe that Kane, he needs to quit the club. You've done it. Your mission has been accomplished. You are Tottenham's record goal scorer. But now it's time to win some things and cement yourself as an all-time great. And lads, I know it sounds borderline nutty to suggest a monster move to a team who just lost 7-0, but where else is he gonna go? And can you imagine if this £100 million move goes through this summer? Can anybody think of a bigger upgrade in European football this year than Kane replacing Wout Weghorst? Ironically, as someone who's still contracted to Burnley and clearly likes stroking football signs, apparently he did this to put Van Dijk off. You really think the Holland captain is going to be bothered by some beanpole oaf caressing a brick wall? But lads, I know Kane turns 30 this summer, and instantly that will cause some Manchester United fans to sneer down their nose. Again, a bit like Leonardo DiCaprio being fixed up on a blind date with a woman over the age of 23. I mean, if he sees one wrinkle on her face, he'll probably instantly get sick in her purse. But Manchester United bought Robin van Persie from Arsenal aged 29. And I don't remember too many fans being appalled by that idea, because the man was in the form of his life. The previous year, he just smashed in 30 Premier League goals for Arsenal. Yeah, that's the same thing that Thierry Henry did. Thierry should have won the Ballon d'Or. I guess what? Van Persie was one of the most important signings any club has made in Premier League history, because in his debut season at Old Trafford, another 30 goals, and Sir Alex Ferguson bowed out with the Premier League title. If Van Persie had instead gone to Man City that year, then Fergie would have retired on a damp squid, probably finishing third in the league with a stiff cabbage like Tom Cleverley in midfield. Fergie would have retired with a broken voice box after spending 9 months screaming at Danny Welbeck to control the ball. If Fergie had not gone out with a league title, then people would talk a lot more about him losing to Man City 6-1 at home. But they don't really talk about that because Fergie proved he wasn't past it, and finished on top. And similarly, Manchester United need to buy Kane. And if they do, they can win the Premier League title next season. 100%. Kane is currently on wages of £200,000 a week. Manchester United's highest earner is an inconsistent 31-year-old goalkeeper on wages of £375k a week. David De Gea earns nearly twice as much as Harry Kane. No wonder he's happy to stay for the rest of his career. I guess that's what it costs to force De Gea to stuff his Real Madrid dream into the dishwasher. But Jadon Sancho is on £350,000 a week, and he can't even get in the team. The likes of Anthony Martial earns £50,000 a week more than Harry Kane. Whoever's idea it was to give Martial that fat contract in January 2019, oh, give your head a flush. Harry Kane earns just £10,000 a week more than Harry Maguire. Christian Eriksen, Kane's old mate, has since failed at Inter Milan, nearly died on the pitch, been banished from Italy, and to sign for Brentford, and he still earns just £50k a week less than Kane. So give Kane £380,000 a week. Make him the club's highest earner, give him a 4-year contract, and no way is he turning that down. What athlete on planet Earth gets a nearly double his money pay increase when he's in his 30s? And the best thing is, he doesn't even have to sell his soul, move to Saudi Arabia or Qatar for that cash. Just stay in the Premier League and actually compete for the Premier League title. Honestly, lads, this is the move to make, Kane. And if you do it, Manchester United could really win the league. But as for Tottenham, don't worry, you'll be fine. Just use the Kane money to buy Gonzalo Ramos from Benfica. Easy. Anyway, let me know what do you think, or let me know in the comments below where do you think Kane should go. Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.